Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. We are learning about the giant sloth. So he is related to our modern day sloths, but he is so much bigger. And yes or no, do you think humans lived at the same time? Well, we did. Not anymore. He went extinct, and we'll talk about that. So, since he's not around anymore, let's hop on into our time travel machine. Buckle up, click, click, and five, four, three, two, one. We are back in the Ice Age. So, thousands of years ago, during the last Ice Age that we've had, this giant sloth would just kind of trudge along through North and South America. He was a huge, hairy beast and was as big as an African elephant. But he was kind of a gentle giant, even though he had those huge claws. He could be up to 20 feet long and weigh 4 tons. He had strong legs, but he just ate vegetation. This vegetation was from shrubs or trees, and maybe he scavenged for meat. So maybe he was an omnivore. I'd like to know your thoughts. Was he just an herbivore, or did he eat a little bit of meat? You got to remember, he's a big, huge animal. So maybe he did if he got hungry, but his favorite food was definitely vegetation. And he would walk on all fours or even just be bipedal, walking on just those two hind legs. He was able to reach the tops of trees. Here you can see he's kind of acting like a giraffe, where he wraps that tongue around the branch and pulls it in. And a lot of what we know about him was from preserved skin. So we got lucky that we found some actual skin on the fossils. A lot of times, because of the soft tissue, it kind of disintegrates, falls apart. But we were able to even find hair in a North American area where they had some caves. His skin was tough, super tough leather. And that probably protected him from being attacked by other animals. So his claws and his feet may have caused him to kind of have the size of its feet and stood upright most of the time, is how we kind of think that. But if you can say Megatherium, thank you. So the Megatherium, that's a scientific name. So if you want to start sounding like a scientist, or sounding really smart to your friends, just say Megatherium. It means great beast. And he's different than our modern sloths. Those live in the trees, and modern sloths will hold on, hang upside down. They spend so much time upside down that even their hair grows upside down. They move so slow that algae collects and gives them kind of a green color. But the giant sloths, they mainly just stayed on the ground and probably walked on all fours instead of like slithering how the sloth does. And these claws could grow as long as a banana, just the nails, 1 foot long. And he could pull down branches. He used them as tools, also helped him dig and definitely to protect himself. So if he ever got in a fight with a different animal, here you see that saber-toothed tiger, and we have that in the classroom as well. But he did not want to get attacked. He didn't really want to eat the saber-toothed tiger, but man, he would fight him off. And this giant sloth, sometimes they would even be 8,000 pounds heavier than a car. So there he is fighting some of the cave bears from back in the Ice Age. We're learning about him too. It would be ferocious. They would often fight till the death. They didn't like to give up. But here you can see just how long those nails are. And he didn't really go to school, so we have to remember that when we're watching these videos. But we did live at the same time. Would you want to live at the same time as him? And here you can see, what do you think? Was he a smart animal? Does he have a brain? Well, he has a brain too. And he was somewhat smart, not the smartest guy in the on the block, but they would take care of their babies. And what's cool about sloths is they can even swim. So when we compare that to the modern sloths, like I said, those will spend most of their day upside down. And this is what our modern day ones look like. And they're a lot smaller. We have two-toed and three-toed sloths, and just that algae starts collecting on them. So the Megatherium, the giant sloth, didn't have the same coloring because he didn't have that algae growing on him. But this is his relative, the modern day sloth. So they still have long nails. They're just a much smaller creature. So I just think it's kind of cool sometimes to compare the relatives. So here you see, this is a modern day sloth, but they loved their babies, took care of them, and the babies like to latch on and hold on just so they're safer. And the mother would protect them. So this one's climbing down the tree. So they have similar traits where the Megatherium would reach up and grab some leaves to eat. And here you see the modern day one kind of reaching up to get some food. Definitely liked leaves. If you ever had one as a pet, they ate lettuce, dandelion greens, apples, but they love to climb. And I just think they're so cute. But they are definitely slow moving. So the Megatherium, he was a pretty big animal. So he can move a little faster than his cousin, the sloth, but he was so big. Now, what's interesting about sloths is they only poop once a week. And as scientists, we only had the skin and the hair to really try to figure out the habits of the giant sloth. So I don't know. Modern day sloths poop once a week. I'm kind of thinking that the giant sloth was so big, he probably had to poop more than just once a week. And what are your thoughts? So, if they are similar to their modern day sloths, the babies would be born with their eyes open, and they reach maturity after just a few years. Now, the modern day sloths have about one baby. I kind of think that's what the giant sloth would have, is just one at a time. So, here is your trophy for learning about the giant sloth. I'd like to know which one you find more fascinating. The Megatherium, who went extinct when it just started to get too cold. And because it started getting cold, the vegetation that he needed to eat started to disappear and they kind of starved to death. Also, sometimes maybe some humans would hunt them because they did have fur that was nice and tough, would have made good fabric. And they, I don't know, just being up to 16 to 18 feet tall as a giraffe. It's kind of mind blowing. And I don't know, if you go to some museums, you'll be able to see a little bit right here. I don't know, but tiger trouble. One of his predators that he had to face was that saber-toothed tiger. And that one's also known as a smilodon. Now, the saber-toothed tiger is not a tiger, but he is ferocious. The size, strength, and those huge claws would have given the sloth, luckily, a fighting chance. But those big cats, they like to be in packs when they would hunt. So it's kind of sad. A lot of times the saber-toothed tigers would win, and they just thought that he was delicious. And he has a cousin, Americanum, and he was named after the U.S. President Thomas Jefferson, who loved to study fossils in his spare time. So if you're anything like the president, where you like to study fossils, there's so much we can learn. You can even learn about what animals eat by studying fossilized poop. So there's all different kinds of jobs if you ever want to study it. There was a 6-year-old who found dinosaur bones. So you don't have to have a job. You don't have to be 18 to start looking for fossils. I found, I think like 7 or 8 fossils in my life. Some of them are real small. They might be leaves or insects, but there are definitely fossils out there. Look in rocks and keep your eyes peeled. Maybe you'll find some bones. I'll see you in the next video. Great job today, and let me know, is there another Ice Age animal you'd like to learn about? Tell me, and I'll make a video for you.